Hey, peace, y'all. It's your boy Sav. Sav, I'm back. Sav the Goofy Exposer. Sav the ON. Sav the Prince of Persia. Because since we just saying anything nowadays, you know what I mean? Anything, you say anything, praying Africanist. So I'm the Sav the Prince of Prussia. Sav the Prince of Persia. We just all gonna say bullshit. The melanin god. King Kong consciousness. And we're back with another one. And I'm gonna give you a treat because I didn't watch this interview at all. I don't know what points that I'm gonna get off, but I'm gonna watch it with y'all. And when I stop it, I'm gonna give my commentary. What's this one called? Exposes the truth about snow bunnies. About white women? All right, let's skip all this bullshit.
Yeah, I'm talking about, man. This
Shout out to No Rap Cat Podcast. Always give respect to the content creator. Whether if I agree with them or not, whether if I agree with the person they got on their panel or not, but either way, shout out to y'all for just doing this. So keep doing your thing.
this is something I really want to ask you personally. So, far as like just like the slogan I just said, "Snow bunnies never." How you think like a person even getting to that? It's cool if they didn't been with multiple sisters and they tried that and then they went to the snow bunnies. You against that too?
Of course, because it's about loyalty to your race. There's more African women on the planet than any other group of females. So, with black women being the largest female population on the earth, if you cannot find a black woman in the continental North America, why not go to continental South America? Why not go to the Caribbean? Why not go to
All right, first, I'm gonna answer this question without getting into all the other stuff. Why not go to South America? Why not go to the Caribbean? You're assuming that people got money to get up and go to these other places to go hunt for a wife. You're assuming that people are running around getting on different podcasts, making money from these interviewers that book them, and they can just go anywhere. Now, that's one. Two, we ain't gonna go into that, but that's one right there.
Canada? Why not go to the original Africans of
I knew you were
Mexico?
gonna
You
say
can
that.
go to Australia. I was just in Australia for the first time. Beautiful African queens
You
over
know
there. Why
why?
not
All
go
these people paid
to the
me.
continent itself? You can even go to Asia and find African women there. I just met a gentleman when I debated Elon Musk's father at the Oxford Union last week, and I met a brother there. He was Iraqi, but he was talking to me about the original Iraqis who are African, who are still in Iraq, blue, black, purple skin, who trace their ancestry back to the continent. So you can find black women anywhere. So what excuse do we have as black men not to stay loyal to our women?
Son, maybe it's not an excuse. Maybe he just want to be with white women. Maybe he want to be with a white woman. Maybe that's what he like. Maybe he like blonde. Maybe he like redhead. Maybe he like brunette. The same way that you don't like taking care of your kids, maybe he like being with white women. That's the fuck is it? The fuck is it anybody's business? Who the fuck gives a fuck? No, you know who gives a fuck? Umar gives a fuck.
Women.
I apologize. Jermaine Shoemake gives a fuck.
I don't run deep, but like a lot of people, a lot of men that have dated African American women or whatever, black women, whatever, they feel like they go through this thing about them being submissive toward them,
Mhm.
and they feel like when they go into at least the Caucasian or Asian race or whatever,
Mhm.
they are trained to be more submissive to their counterpart. So
But it makes sense though. Why? Because the Caucasian woman is a privileged woman. So she doesn't have to have a tough exterior. She doesn't have to struggle with insecurities around whether or not my man is going to stay with me or leave me when he comes across, the next woman. Or
Umar. Umar, I don't know, but you sound like somebody I know.
is he going to end up, being incarcerated for something he didn't even do?
Or is he going to end up running around the country talking about other people's children, but not help me take care of mine? Is he going to run around the country getting on podcasts talking about a school that he's been building for the last 15 years, but it ain't never going to open? Or is he, he's running around, he's so visible. We see him in Philly every weekend, but he can never come to the house and help out with with this child. But at least he paid child support.
Or not come home because he was murdered by the police for something he didn't, even do. So I understand why the white woman is submissive. She benefits from white privilege. She can be submissive to you. But if you ever get out of line, she can make one phone call and destroy your whole life. So the Caucasian woman isn't.
Black women do that too. Melanated women do that too. They call and lie on you. In fact, I just seen a body camera a couple of days ago from a woman in Ohio that called, said her boyfriend was talking to somebody else, and she got upset and she called the police and said that motherfucker assaulted her. And she admitted she lied and said, "Oh yeah, I lied. I said they assaulted me." So black women don't do that too. So it's just white women that do that.
Concerned about the black man taking advantage of her because she can upset his whole apple cart whenever she feels like it. I understand why the black woman has insecurities about the black man, because she has been left to raise the children on her own, not necessarily because of any wrongdoing on our part, but given the war against black men and the mass incarceration of black men, our women have been left raising 75% of our children alone for the past 50 years. Why should she be happy with us? And
first of all, you contradicted yourself. It's the problem with the whole gender war. We all so fucking smart, and I say this all the time. We all so fucking smart that we can understand this happened to melanated man in this country. This happened to melanated women in this country. They did this to us. They separated this. They took this from us. But we so fucking smart to understand this shit. But nobody's fucking smart enough to give each other grace and understanding. Nobody's smart enough to realize, to understand this bullshit. Nobody is smart enough to get through this bullshit, to think, well, we know what this man and this, that, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they need some fucking help. Also, maybe y'all motherfuckers need to not stop running in and having so many fucking babies with each other by the time y'all are 21. Give yourself some time. Actually be a fucking family. Actually, do something with your fucking life. People talk about women being too career oriented and stuff like that. I don't see it. I don't see an issue with it. I was raised differently. I wasn't raised with a single mother, but I was raised with both parents that worked and understood that we're working towards a goal and a mission for the family altogether. So I don't know what the fucking issue is, but I do know it's possible. I do know it's possible because we weren't rich by any sense of the means, but there was never an issue with my father and my mother. It was never an issue in the house where I see my mother, all disrespecting my father or anything like that. That shit never happened. That shit don't happen now. They still together. So, and part of the reason that didn't happen because they actually gave a fuck about each other. They actually cared about each other. They didn't just run into the sack and just start fucking and just make a baby. And then you find out, oh, I don't like this motherfucker. Now you got to deal with him for the rest of your life. Because people say 18 years. That's not true. You're going to have to deal with that child's father every year of your fucking life. Whether you talk to him or you don't talk to him, that's still gonna be your child's father. So he's still gonna show up at birthdays, at events, at fucking holidays, all of that shit. And I just spoke to some woman who she was going over to her ex-husband's house for the 4th of July. Well, they got babies together, they got kids together. So she didn't want to go do whatever her plan. She didn't want to tell me what her plans were. She was like, "Oh, I'm just going over to my family's house." I'm like, "What that mean?" Like, okay. But it was really her ex-husband's house, because this is what happens. You run in there and you have kids with people that you don't actually care about, that you didn't really get to know. Let's not act like people don't get married off a whim. People get married really quickly nowadays. People jump into the sack really quickly nowadays, and then it's just babies here. And then after they had the baby, they talking about finding their soulmate and somebody they love. I was just talking to this girl at work that I work with. Very nice person. But it's ironic how I hear this story all the fucking time, how you had a baby. She's 21, you had a baby, and now you're looking for your soulmate. Well, what about your baby daddy? Oh, I don't want to be with him. I just had the kid with him. Well, it's going to be hard to find a husband, because a lot of motherfuckers ain't going to want to take care of somebody else's kids. You should have been looking for a husband first, to be real honest. But it's neither here nor there. But I don't understand how we can know all this fucking shit, be so fucking smart, but nobody's smart enough to overcome some of these problems, and nobody's fucking smart enough to give each other grace.
And we see her struggling to raise boys on her own, and we rarely come to her support. So there is a history to why Black women are a little less trusting. There's a history as to why Black women are a little bit more masculine in their presentation, because many Black women didn't grow up with a father, and they were abused by men. So they had to get tough in order to prevent rape, to prevent sexual exploitation. And here's what we need to understand as Black men: two things. Number one, a Black woman by nature is designed to submit. But you
all women by
have
nature
to be strong enough for her to put confidence in you that will warrant her submission.
He's not wrong on that.
Every Black woman
He's not wrong on that.
is designed to.
I don't give a fuck about Jermaine shoemake at all, but it's just like I say about all people. You can't really put everything in all people. Everybody got some type of flaws, but sometimes you're right. But I damn sure won't listen to somebody who sits up there and doesn't take care of his kids. And even if he makes the right point, I'd rather have somebody else say it. I'm not going to be like, Dr. Umar said this and shit. Fuck that. Throw the whole thing out with him. I'll wait till somebody else say that same point. Be like, nah, I heard it from this motherfucker. Because fuck that shit. A nigga that don't take care of his kids can't tell me nothing. Ain't shit you can tell me except how to be a better father, to take care of my kids. Not to take care of my kids, the sense to say, if I got a girl pregnant or whatever, say, hey man, look, I didn't take care of my kids and it was this bad for me, blah, blah, blah. You need to take care of your kids. That's the only advice I'm accepting from a motherfucker that ain't take care of their kids. Ain't nothing you can say to me. Ain't nothing you can say. I'll be right back. Ain't nothing you can say to me. This fool. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm back. Had to grab a little.
To submit. And I would argue every Black woman wants to submit. Their question is, what am I?
Every woman wants to submit. I've been doing this long enough. Every woman wants to submit. The problem is, this is the same thing with careers we were just talking about. Women are hypergamous by nature. That's what I'm learning. That's just dealing with women. Women want more. And I'm not saying all women. Not saying all women. There are a lot of women actually out here that are content, that are happy, that they ain't striving for that. But now the newer generation, I don't say newer. Yeah. Because my parents were in their 60s. And I see that for more women in their 50s and 60s that. But the newer generation, the 40s, 30s, 20s, they're like, well, if I'm making 80,000, my guy got to be making 160,000, and that's just not realistic. That's just not realistic at all. Like, if you want to be realistic, looking into my family situation without giving any exact numbers away, it was like this: one would make 100 that year, the other one may make 80,000 that year, or it may make one may make 120, the other one may make 100 grand that year. Like, and then it may flip. It may go, sometimes moms may make more, sometimes dad may make more. It was never no disrespect in the house because they actually care and loved each other and understand, like, yo, this is how we want it. This is how we want it set. You're the leader of the household. It don't matter if you lose your job or something happen. Yes, you got to provide and protect this family, but we'll find a way. We'll make it work. I'm still going to be the same wife I am to you, the same mother I am to you. I'm not going to change whether you lose your job or not, as long as you don't disrespect me and start acting disrespectful, which my parents, that's not how my parents are and not how my dad is or my mom is. A lot of these people run around talk about, I'm telling my woman to shut the fuck up and blah, 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 shit like that. I've rarely seen that. When I say rarely seen it, I've never seen it. Like, my dad don't run around and be telling them, oh, shut the fuck up and be yelling and shit in the house. He's just very chill. He's very relaxed. And that's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people be like, submission is just, oh, you listen to whatever the fuck I say, whenever the fuck I say it. And that's not like real. First of all, she chose to submit. Like, my mom ain't had to be there. She chose to be there, chose to deal with my dad. She loved my dad. And so that's what helped made the relationship work. But also, my dad wasn't a fucking tyrant. Some of these men out here are trying to be tyrants just because they have money, and nobody's gonna run with that. Nobody's gonna be cool with that. Even Anton does a whole bunch of talking. Anton Daniels, he does a whole bunch of talking, made himself seem like a tyrant. I truly believe that's for the fucking internet. I don't know how he is with his actual family, but I'm pretty sure he's not a tyrant to them. There's certain things. Obviously, there's certain things when I say this goes. I'm putting my foot down, but I'm pretty sure he's not a tyrant. It's a difference between putting your foot down on a point and being a tyrant. So that's what a lot of people is. A lot of men are getting this masculinity bullshit from people that don't have the right aspects of masculinity themselves. That's the best way to put it. Like they say, men don't cry and this, that, and the third. I know a brother who, takes care of his family, takes care of his kids, there with his I think it's his fiance, but they've been together for years. They had the kids. They still gonna be together. Eventually, they're gonna get married. But I'm not saying he cry all the time. But there's definitely been times in his life I've seen him cry, man. Break down, cry. We talk about it. Hey, man, things happen. I don't look at him as no less of a man. In fact, I got a lot of respect for this brother. So, what people are calling masculinity. And it's starting to change. But what people were calling masculinity at one point, or toxic masculinity, they were breeding that to be masculinity. I don't believe it's toxic masculinity. It's just toxic people. Just people have fucking issues and they don't know that that's not how you go about it. But masculinity is masculinity. A lot of these people are just toxic and they're males and they blame it on masculinity. But that's not true. That's not how it works. So you really shouldn't be a fucking tyrant in your house. If you want to be honest, if you're calm, your wife gonna be calm, your kids gonna be calm, everything gonna be all right. So just look at it like that. But back to the one.
Am I submitting to? And what am I submitting for?
Facts.
You got black men saying, I want the queen to submit. You ain't paying no bills. You ain't helping her with no children. She's submitting to you for what? Where is the reciprocity? She's going to put you on the throne as the king, but are you going to put her on the throne as the queen? The respect that we want has to be earned. It's not given just because you're a male. It has to be earned.
I agree.
Some of that stuff on the other side is basically that's what you're saying also too. Just because a woman is a woman, that's basically. But you're saying it ain't the same because a male is a male.
Well, see, here's the thing. The reason why our women don't see us eye to eye on this conversation is from their perspective, and I understand it. From their perspective, how dare y'all? How dare y'all tell us we got to submit when y'all not in control of nothing? I have to submit to you, and then I got to go to work and submit to the white man. No.
That's the stupidest point in the world, because no other ethnicity of people got a fucking issue with that. No, I mean, honestly, look at the stats. You know, it's only started happening within the last 2 years that Hispanics are now starting in America. Hispanics are now starting to be more single mothers than two-parent household. It literally just the stats just started coming up, like within the last year or so. So you're saying from the 80s, because that's when this whole thing of taking the kid out the household and the parent and the father not in the household and shit, that's from what I know. It started in the 80s. So from the 80s to now, which is like what, 50 years? Something like that, 40 years, something like that. So it's 40 years. Spanish people they weren't becoming single mothers. They didn't have an issue with submitting to the man and going to work still. Chinese didn't have an issue with it. We just talking just in America. The Japanese don't have an issue with it. The Indians don't have an issue with it. The Africans that work here don't have an issue with it. So all these other people don't have an issue with it, but we have an issue with it. And our issue is why we don't control shit, is what he's saying. Melanated men don't control shit. I gotta come here and be submissive to you, then go to work and be submissive. What the fuck are you talking about, Umar? One, that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. If you work together, you know, my parents had jobs. My parents still got jobs. Work together. But the difference is the person that the people that are at that workplace, they don't give two shits about you. Your husband actually gives a fuck about you. He actually will give his life for you. He actually will take care of you if you need to take care of. You get sick, he's gonna be there for you. He's gonna help with the kids. He's gonna, you know, whatever he needs. You know, he needs stuff around the house. Stuff need to be fixed. Like, hey, man, you know, the husband is your husband. He's actually a life partner. He's there for you throughout life. That's the goal. You will have many jobs in your life. And that's just what it is. That boss doesn't give two fucks about you other than that you are a paycheck. You are an employee number that he pays. He may like you as a person. You may be great. But once you leave that fucking job, there's no devastation there. There's no hurt there. There's none of that. You know, they going, all right, man, you gone 2 weeks, 3. If you lucky, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they don't find another person. But about 6 weeks to 8 weeks, so within 2 months, they're gonna find another person to replace you. It ain't usually like that in families. I mean, you have the kid, you have your husband who's been with you for a while, and then y'all break up, he's devastated. You got your kids, y'all break up, they're devastated. You got all the other people behind it, because let's not act like you're just out here alone. It's just you and your family. You got the community. So like a person like me, you know, I have friends that are married, been married for a long time. I know them as married. If y'all break up, I'm not chilling with either one of y'all, because I like y'all. I love y'all, and I love y'all as a couple. So you got other people on the outside of the community that's also devastated. Be like, did you hear John and Joanna broke up? Oh my God. Like, you know, and they done seen you together for years. Like, oh. But it's just stupid that we say that we can't listen at work and listen at home, or the wife can't go to work and then be home. But also there's another way to do this. Then don't go to work. Don't go to work, stay home with the kids, and don't sit up there and try to be, oh man, you got to make more money and you got to do this. You learn to live within the fucking means. I've seen people do that. I know this family, actually a good friend of mine's, good friend of mine's, grew up with him. He got like 5, 6 kids. I mean, not 5, 6 kids, 5, 6 siblings. It was him, his mom, and his dad. They all lived together in one house, you know. His dad made money, but not a lot of money. Maybe like, you know, I'm pretty sure it's above average, about 60,000 a year. His mom didn't work at all. Never seen her with a job. Even after his father passed, God bless the dead. Never seen her with a job. But she learned to live within the fucking means. And she never had to work. She was good. She learned to live within the fucking means. So they wasn't going out buying $100 lunches every fucking day. They was making that shit at home. And this is even when their kids had different allergies, different issues. Certain foods had to be made different. She figured all that shit at home. We didn't have to go get a fucking cook. Ain't had to go get a fucking nanny. You know what I mean? So women, you can be submissive, then just be cool with that. Get you a guy that makes him 80,000 and you learn to live under that salary. Get you a guy that makes him 50,000 and you learn to live under that salary. It'll be fine. Now, I got another example. I have an uncle and an aunt. Love them to death. My aunt does not work that much. Sometimes she works. I've seen her work as a crossing guard and stuff like that. They learn to make it work under their means. My uncle, he makes a lot. You know, he does. He's in computer tech. He's been in computer tech since like the early 2000s, since it first started off. So he makes a good pretty penny. They still had to learn to live with under the means. She couldn't go out and run out and be buying all these cars and shit like that and going all these groceries and shit like that. Still was driving the little van with all 5 of the kids, taking care of the house. You know, they couldn't have all these fucking parties and everything in the house. You got to learn to fucking live within your means and you'll be fine. You can submit and you can find a dude you could submit to. Now, if you want to be technical, look, man, if you want to be technical, women shouldn't even be working. And I say women shouldn't even be working before y'all call me sexist, is because if you look into the fucking stats, once they started allowing women into the workplace, that's when they dropped the fucking salaries and they made it harder for everybody to fucking live and shit like that. Before, it was easier to earn a decent wage. But anyway, that's neither here nor fucking there.
No woman should have to submit to 2 different men. There's going to be one king. If it's going to be you, be that. And if
I just told you how to make it work. I just told you how to make it work. Learn to live within the fucking means. But a lot of women don't live within their fucking means by themselves. So you think when they get a husband, they're going to live within his means?
If it's going to be the white man, he going to be that. But I'm not going to go and struggle for 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, dealing with this white.
Stop it. These women not working 80 hours a week. They're not working 60 hours a week. I think the average woman works like 37 hours a week. So it's not even average. I mean, it's like, when I say not even average, it's not even 40 hours. Like, if you look at the average, yeah. So they're not working 60, 80 hours a week. That would be the top, you know, that would be the outstanding ones that are working 60, 80 hours a week. Most of them are not. Most of them will call out because they can't find a babysitter for their kids, you know, Monday, Tuesday, and then they'll work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I've seen it. Been a manager and all. I've seen it.
Like racist. I got to submit to him as it is. And then I got to come home and submit to you. If you my king, why the hell I got to go submit to the cracker in the first place?
Right. But you know what the struggles are.
She made her choice. Let's not act like, see, Dr. Umar saying that shit. Let's not act like women don't have a choice. Women been saying that. Women can't be told what to do. Women don't listen. Women don't want to be submissive. So she want to be under me. I tell her, hey, don't work. Just be up in the house. worry about the food, worry about the kids and cleaning and shit like that, she'll feel like, oh, I don't want to just sit here and not do nothing. I'm gonna go get me a job. But while you sitting there thinking, let's not do nothing, you know, once you go get a job, you know what else we got to pay for now? Daycare, after school programs and shit. Because you working, I'm working. These kids we can't leave them in the house alone. So it creates another bill, but people don't think.
Because of the black man is that we're not granted pretty much the same opportunities as the white man is.
That is true.
Position. So that puts us in it's unequal. You know what I'm saying?
It is unequal. It is and because it's unequal, the same argument could be made for our sisters. If we're forced to give a little as men to the white man, then we should also be accepting of her needing to ask for a little bit more too. We have to make an adjustment because of the racism. So we must allow her to make an adjustment as well. Right. Because if we're not the white man's equal economically, why are we expecting her to submit to the same degree?
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm skipping this. I really don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Or should we be trying to build collectively to where we need to be so she will willingly submit? Sometimes when I have these conversations, not with you two brothers, but with others, I almost feel like the brothers just want the women to accept.
Stop. Yo, I just saw this nigga got a book that said Black Parent in a fucking Quarter. Is this his book? Is this Dr. Umar book? Oh, I gotta look this shit up real quick. Black parent. Black parent book. Oh, this is the game changer. No, not Black parent books. Black Parent Advocate. Yeah, that would be the name of his book. Let me make sure I'm not the smartest. I'm not the highest grade of weed in the dispensary. Yeah, that's exactly. To speak, plead, or argue in favor of, because he's not a parent, because he never took care of his daughters. So he's not a parent. I mean, he's a father, but he's not a parent. So he can only be the advocate. He can only speak for you. He can't speak. He can't speak as of. He can't speak as is. He can't speak in a parent's mindset. He can only be an advocate. Good title, Umar. You are smart for that. I see what you did there. Because if it said Black Parent on it, people will call you out. All types of names and shit. Black Parent Advocate. You are smart. I see what you did there. All right, we going back to the video. Oh, I see the little
us as
that
we
A down here in the corner.
With no
like
questions. That's not fair. So
there
what I'm saying is
Black
let us work
Parent
together
Advocate,
and build the
BPA.
reality she needs to feel comfortable enough in
red, black, and green. He know how to make. He know how to make you wanna.
Hey, I know
He's good at what he do. I gotta give him credit.
Real situation to deflect some of that.
But I'm good at calling out goofies.
Travis Hunter situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's somebody he's been with who when he wasn't.
I don't know why my internet acting up today.
He got married with that girl and got no prenup.
I promise you, it's paid for this month.
I think he should have got a prenup. He didn't
come ready, like you were saying. He didn't come ready. She was with him as is.
What about the ugly?
But she was with him as is. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know when she met him.
In college.
That's a big factor.
But from what I understand,
they talking about, I didn't hear what they
to
talking
submit to us.
That sounds like a lifetime.
Hey, I know.
It ain't no lifetime.
But I could
I'm just saying.
I could use a real situation to deflect some of that. Like matter of fact, Travis Hunter situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's somebody he been with who when he wasn't ready. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That chick, he got married with that girl and got no prenup. A bunny.
Which I don't agree with.
But look, don't say he wasn't ready. I mean, no, let's not say Travis Hunter wasn't ready, because that's like I don't know what the right words for it is. He just should not be with that chick, man. And everybody's telling him like, yo, this chick is a grifter. This chick ain't really for you. She over there twerking and fucking other dudes while y'all together. You know what I mean? Y'all sleeping in separate rooms. You know what I mean? Y'all not an old married couple. And even old married couples that do that, there's weird with them. Feel me? That y'all sleeping in separate rooms. It's one thing if y'all like, you know, oh well, she's upstairs watching a program and I don't fuck with that program, so I'm watching this. Or hey, maybe not fuck with that program. She just annoying watching that, so I'm watching this down here. I want to watch my other show, right? And then you fall asleep down there, but then you go upstairs or then you go into the room, whatever, and then you still be in the room. You know, people that just stay in two separate rooms is weird. And but you know, we can't say he wasn't ready. He definitely shouldn't have married her without a prenup. But everybody been telling him if he ain't listen to Dion, he ain't listen to the world. He wasn't listening to Shannon Sharp. Everybody was saying it like, yo, and he still got her pregnant. And unfortunately, man, I feel like they're not going to still be together because he's going to grow up. You know, I'm not sure how old he is right now. I feel like he's like 21 because in college, you got to be at least 3 years before you get drafted. So I feel like he's around 21, 22. I know he's with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I can't wait to see him play. You know, I'm out here in Florida. But eventually he's going to grow up. So eventually, I don't know if it's going to be 25. We don't know if it's going to be 24. We don't know when it will be, but eventually he's going to be tired of her bullshit. That's when the problem comes in. Because right now he's highly smitten with her, you know, and we all can see it. We all know puppy love. He said he didn't really have a girlfriend before her, and then she came in. So, you know, she put that thing on him good enough to where he was sitting outside the club when she was twerking on other dudes and shit. But I mean, that one picture where that dude is grabbing her ass, you know, I didn't even realize that was a real picture. I thought that shit was fake. I thought that was one of those fakes that people do and shit nowadays. It was like, no, this is a real picture. And they were together. I was like, that's crazy. Because I would have been, no matter how much I like that girl, this another nigga grabbing your ass, I'd have been over with that. But eventually, he's going to be tired of her shit. And that's the problem. If he gets tired of her shit, does she have one kid? Does she have 2 kids? How much she gonna take? But the only good thing I will tell you is from what I've seen from people that went through divorces and the woman wasn't really making anything, even though she gets a little bit each month. From what I've seen is that those men are okay going forward, and the woman is still stuck trying to get back to where she could be, even though, you know, she caused the divorce and everything like that, because those men, they still working, they still got a name, they still know how to get shit done. And I'm not just talking about rich guys too. I'm talking about regular guys too that are still, you know, out here grinding, putting in work. Be like, hey man, they can still go do things. This chick is still trying to grab her little piece of the pie, you know, and she ain't going, but she gonna be millions and millions and millions of dollars up. So she gonna be doing way better than some of us down here. So but yeah, it's just gonna be sad for Travis Hunter because he really gifted her that fucking big ass, nice ass car, and she wasn't all happy and ecstatic. I mean, you done seen the videos. I gotta watch the video, man. Let me see if they got that Travis Hunter. GF new car. I don't know why they didn't type in wife. I don't know why they didn't say wife. That's her dream car too. That's even fucking worse. If that's her dream car. She was a piece of shit, man. Where's the video at? I don't say was. She is a piece of shit. Stop doing that. Yeah, she definitely looked.
Good.
I ain't gonna lie, she definitely looked this nigga hand in the fucking way. But she definitely looked pregnant right here. She definitely looked a little bit pregnant. You know what I mean? That's like a couple of months pregnant. So that's like draft night sex. You know what I mean? That's like they had sex at draft night when he got drafted, and you know, he nutted in her and he got her pregnant. You know, black men definitely know how to get a bitch pregnant.
Good.
She definitely pregnant. She definitely pregnant because she ain't had all that belly before. She had no belly before.
The dance, brother? Oh, you know I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. What's up? What's up? Dance, brother?
I ain't see her smile not one time. I ain't see her smile not one time. To be fair, maybe it's just me. Because you know what? Travis Hunter is also not smiling. I guess they talking and stuff.
You gonna hit the dance, brother? Oh, you know I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. What's up? What's up?
Ew, that's her smile. That's how she smiles. That's how she smiles, y'all. That's nasty. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Like, what smile is that? I ain't gonna lie, this sister over here is cute. Yeah. Fucking she cute too. She dancing down the aisle. Yeah. Anyway, let's fast forward. I guess she smiled, took a picture in front of it, but that's for a photo op. Nah, I've seen the background. I've seen the background shits on TikTok where like she wasn't really smiling and shit, but who knows? Maybe they could be together forever and she actually really does like him. They just had a whole rough period where she was twerking on dudes and fucking other dudes while he was in the house. But anyway, you know, because if they're together for 50 years, you know, maybe it's just a rough period. All relationships have rough periods, but that's a really rough period. Oh my, I wouldn't want to go through it.
I think he should have got
He
a
didn't
premium.
come ready, like you were saying. He ain't come ready. She was with him as is.
Right.
What about the ugly?
But she was with him as is. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know when she met him,
In college,
That's a big factor.
but from what I understand, he was already a well-known athlete when she got with him.
in college.
So
Yeah,
I
but he
couldn't-
wasn't an NFL
Yes,
receiver.
I couldn't treat that situation as a traditional snow bunny meets a brother who's struggling and builds him. He was already built. And biologically, she's not a snow bunny, although psychologically she might be. Her mother is a dark-skinned woman. She showed her. I was shocked. Her mother's a dark-skinned.
Ain't no way in hell. You know what I mean? Ain't no way in hell. But you know what? I've seen women. I know women like that where their parents are actually dark and they're light. So genetics is a bitch. You come out looking anything. I know people like that.
Skin woman, right? She's Latino, but the mother Afro Latino. I don't know what the father is per se, right?
The father's a white guy. Now I got to look up Travis Hunter girlfriend. He gonna say shit like that because Dr. Umar is known for saying not true shit. Dr. Umar is known for not telling the truth out here, for saying shit behind the scenes. So, let's see. He said Leanna Hunter is her fucking name now because they got married. Typed in Leanna Hunter girlfriend. Leanna Lene, mom. Lene, something like that. That's not his mom. That's not her mom. This her mom? That can't be. That's gotta be Travis Hunter's mom. That's gotta be Travis Hunter's mom. That's Benzino. I got a picture of him. I knew it. She ain't looked that big before. Now, see, this is a picture of her before. I'm told you that's draft night sex. That's either draft night sex or Heisman sex. Claims that she is Mexican and Filipino heritage from her father's side, and her mother's side is African heritage. Look at that. I was wrong. It's a mix of black, Mexican, and Filipino. So now how you feel, Dr. Umar? That's a black woman. You said black men should be with black women. So now how you feel, Dr. Umar? What's the issue? She's not a snow bunny. She's not a snow bunny. So now what's going on, Dr. Umar? Now it seems like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. What you mean identify as, bro? That's what she is, nigga. I hate when people say that. You're not supposed to go by these stupid ass fucking terms. It's not identified as. It doesn't matter if you like your Mexican side and your Filipino side, motherfucker. You're African and Mexican and Filipino. No matter how you spin it, you're still African. It don't matter how the fuck you identify. She's African, nigga. He should have got a prenup to take from our African sisters. Isn't that what you preach about? Our African sisters should get it all. I thought African women don't deserve prenups. They shouldn't even get prenups. This is an African woman. I see a dark-skinned queen right here. I don't know what y'all seeing. Not this goofy, but Leanne. That's a dark skin. That's an African woman. All right, I gotta push it forward. I gotta push it forward. We ain't never gonna get through this. And I'm not about to sit here for 5 hours. Hold on. He talking about taking his kids somewhere. We all know he don't take his kids nowhere. So he damn sure can't take his grandkids somewhere. All right, we got back up. All right. Okay. Umar talking that hot shit. I don't believe Dr. Umar ever went to a family reunion. Hey, I'm the Prince of Prussia, and I'm a Savite. I'm a Savite. Feel me? I don't know. Try to think of another black leader. I'm a Tupacite. I'm a Tupacist. I'm a Tupacist. You a Garveyite? I'm a Tupacist. I mean, Prince of Prussia. The get out of here goofy exposer. I just thought of that. I'm coining that. The get out of here goofy exposer. I don't know. How can you take your children there if you don't know them? How can you take your grandchildren there if you don't know your children and they won't let you have a relationship with them? That's gonna be kind of hard. It's because you're not part of them, motherfucker. You're not with them. You talking about everybody in this whole fucking family know you. So you don't have one supporter in that family. So nobody likes you. So nobody likes you. Not even one people. Even people who are the black sheep of their family have one person that likes them. Nobody spoke out in behalf of you. That's a little suspect, man. You talking about this whole big ass family. You've been going to family reunions since the 6th grade. I've been going to family reunions for a long time. A long, long time in my life. I go to family. I got a family reunion coming up next month. Guarantee you, if I'm up on the news and somebody you think they can't find somebody, they're gonna be like, "What? I know Jamie. He's a good boy." Blah blah blah. Jamie's my family name, so don't try to go looking me up thinking that's my name. He ain't like blah blah blah, this, that, and third, whoop-de whoop-de wah. Hey man, you telling me nobody stuck it out for me? And they gonna say how we related. I know his dad, his mom, we cousins, they the aunt, we're the nephew, whatever the fuck it is. Brother, sister, half right, twice, third, remove, whatever the fuck it is, friend, you know what I mean, confidant, whatever the fuck it is. You think nobody gonna speak up and say nothing? That's crazy, man. Something is wrong. You talking about you got this whole big ass family and not one person spoke up for you. So you're lying somewhere in this story. Or I guess they just hate you that much. And if they hate you that much, maybe they hate you that much because you be lying the same way you be lying on the fucking world, lying to the fucking world, everybody believing you, but they just saw through your bullshit because they spend more close time with you. You ain't behind the screen. Go pick up your kids, nigga. That man, if anything, he's a hell of a speaker. You know, he's a pastor. I give him that. He'd make you feel it, make you believe it in your soul, down to your fucking bones. Down to your bones. You know, he just know what to say, know how to ask the question the way so that you going with him, know how to get you to sway and rock, man. He's good at what he do. He's good at what he do. I got to give that man credit. You know, there's something I read recently or something I heard recently. There's like the people who make millions of dollars in this world are experts at their job. You know, people don't pay the half-ass. People don't pay the so-so. People don't, you know, reward the, you know, usually the, hey man, I just made a video and I got it done. Hey, I just wrote this and I got it done. But it sounds good, you know, you get some type of reward, but those are people that don't get millions constantly. Dr. Umar is not one of those people that is so-so. Dr. Umar is an expert at this shit. I gotta give Jermaine Johnson that. He is an expert at reading people and know how to say the right word and feeding to you here and putting the words together. So Prince of Pan African, the priest about and everything sound good. So I got to give him credit at that. I get why he constantly gets people to feed into his dream and his delusions and his bullshit of not creating this school that I know so many people want. But I got to give it to her. I see why. I mean, it's not that I never not seen why. I was a fan of his at one point. I was part of it at one point. I gave to the school at one fucking point. But I also know when it's bullshit. And I see bullshit. And in fact, I've been seeing bullshit since I heard about the daughter years ago. You know, I mean, like I always say, I grew up in the Northeast. So I'd have known about Dr. Dumar for a while, a lot longer than a lot of other people found out about him. And after I also know I done had my people that live in Philly, and I done asked them about him, and then the stories that came back to me about him was like, oh, he's an actual nigga, is what they told me. Nah, like, yeah, that's just what he be on the TV. But nah, he's just an actual nigga. He one of us. You know, he ain't even, from what I've learned, he ain't even go to school from where he went to school at. But we gotta get those. We gotta find his diplomas, get his diplomas one of these motherfucking days. We gotta hold them to the fire. Because I don't even know if he went to fucking school or if he just talking, man. Like, you know, it did say you was a school psychologist. I seen somebody on YouTube show that you was a school psychologist, and you know, he got evicted and a couple other things, and he went to school somewhere, but I don't believe him. You know, I mean, it's true, but he was a school psychologist, but he ain't shit, I guess. He's a doctor of nothing. Anyway, fuck him. His name is Jermaine Shoemake. Then it was changed to Umar Abdullah Johnson. Now he says it's Umar Ifetunde, but if you look him up, actually, it says his name is Dr. Umar Johnson. So yeah, call him Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson. His father's name. This nigga took his father's name and didn't even put a junior on it. What type of bitch ass shit is that? Anyway. His name is not officially Ifetunde. He gonna lie to you right now and say his name is Dr. Umar Ifetunde, but that's just on social media because if you look him up, it comes up as Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson. I ain't never heard that Guntate. I ain't never heard him say that shit not one time. I've been listening to him say that. I know Ifetunde Aguntate. He just find this shit that rhyme. All right, Oguntate. Oguntate. I don't care. We skipping all of this bullshit. Y'all go back, look it up later. Nigga, man, everybody donated to you. Everybody can. I don't know about some of these younger guys. You know, motherfuckers donated to you. Motherfuckers wanted to be a part of you. Motherfuckers was fans of you. Motherfuckers was rooting for you, bruh. They just realized after you keep saying the school going, I don't know what point it was for everybody. Everybody got a different fucking point. I don't know if it was because you let the HVAC sit for 3 years. I don't know if because you still ain't got no carpet in that bitch, because you still ain't got no occupancy. I don't know what it is for everybody. Everybody got a different fucking issue with the school. But all these motherfuckers was fans of you. We all wanted to see you prosper until they realized, man, you ain't never gonna open that school, man. For me, I held out for a long time. I'm keeping this stack with you, man. You know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. You could have opened that school during COVID, man. Everything went digital. You ain't even had to be there. You could have sent out laptops. You could have sent out books and shit. You feel me? Had a little small group. You know, grab some teachers, started that bitch up during COVID if you really wanted. You could have been teaching something. But I mean, everything went digital. You ain't had to have them in the school, and then we could have figured it out later. That's when, you know, that's why I say I held out for a long time. You know, and I wasn't necessarily a fan of you. I just held out to see if you would create it. You know, I was a fan of you at one point. I just held out to see the dream because I know and understand that school like that would be lovely to have. But and I still feel like you could have created that bitch during motherfucking what's it called? The COVID shit, the 19 shit. You feel me? You could have created that bitch during 2020, 2021, 2022, and everything was fucking digital. Get some teachers, have some motherfuckers behind the screen, and have them teach some shit. You could have made it work. I would have made it work. Now, other people who are my people that do HVAC, they got some other issues with you. And I know some other people got some other issues with you. And it depends how much people donated and just where everybody stands on the fucking issue. But it seems like the consensus now is everybody stands that school is not going to open. So I highly recommend that you get that fucking school open because you know you can. You took donations from people. You know what I mean? You being a Philly motherfucker. You being a nigga from Philly. You being a brother from Philly. Stop being that. You're not the Will Smith type motherfucker. You know, Betty Singles type motherfucker. I mean, stop doing that. You know what you're doing. I'm saying get this school open because it will be fire for us to get this school open. But because I also believe you have a little bit of heart in you. I don't know if I'm wrong or not. I could be completely wrong. But I believe you got a little bit of heart in you. So you still do want to see collectively our people do great things, which we are accomplishing with or without you. But go ahead, get this school started. Go ahead, get a curriculum going. Actually fund into it. Actually give a damn. Two G's, that's it. We fucking going back and forth over 2 G's. Man, you telling me you can't? I know Umar got 2,000 people that fuck with him. Hey man, I need $1. I need $1 from everybody that can. I know he got 50,000 people that fuck with him. I need $1, just $1 when he go around to these different areas. I need $1, just $1. And solve the crisis right there. That's all you saying, 2 G's? You over here talking about. Never mind. Never mind. Let the video run.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But if the trial was to end, since you're saying that, if the trial was to end today for Puffy, what you got? What you
If the
gathered?
trial was the end of the day
Today.
for Puffy, I want to know how he don't go home, because all I keep hearing about is freak offs and domestic abuse. I don't support domestic violence, but domestic violence is a state charge, not fed.
Right.
Puffy was accused of RICO. He was accused of interstate sex trafficking.
All right, I realized what I did. I had it on the Leanne for a while, and I was talking about the Umar thing, but we got to switch back to this. So we sharing this, so we're gonna run it again. Eventually, we're gonna fast forward a little bit more, then we're gonna fast forward a little bit more, because I'm not gonna sit here and watch the full 38 minutes and dissect Dr. Umar when sometimes he telling the truth, sometimes he bullshitting ass.
And interstate prostitution. Where is the evidence? I keep hearing about Cassie
I do agree.
freaking off in baby oil and pissing on people. Where is the evidence of the 3 federal charges? I don't see none.
I do agree with him with the Diddy, and that's the crazy part, because I don't agree with him too many times, and I don't agree with Diddy too many fucking times. But I do feel like Cassie should be up on charges too. It seems like a lot of it, she was part of it. You know, I get that they say she was abused, she was in this type of relationship. I heard that, you know, she also hit him too. Let's not act like women don't be abusing men too. But even the person that she was with or whatever, not just the Punisher dude, the other guy she brought up, said that not all of the stuff that she said was true. You know, and he, you know, I saw a TikTok video where he told the rest of the story that, oh yeah, I was the guy that did this when I was 19, blah blah blah. But now however the fuck old he is, and he trying to move on, and he talking about, oh, this shit 12 years old, and you bringing this shit back up, and I'm trying to do it. And it looks like he's trying to be more of a social activist on his page. So she bringing this up. You know, imagine what you do for money at 19, 18, come back around in your 30s, come back around in your 40s and 50s. Hey, man, you know, he said, God gave me what he gave me, and I used what I used. You know, I ain't mad at you, my brother. Get your money. Hey, yeah. I'm with that. Get your money and Cassie back. You know what I mean? Cass, I ain't even mad at you. Cassie back. You know, but hey, you know, shit, you know. This is just a well warning to everybody else. You never know what the fuck will come back around 10, 20 years later. You know, and now it looks like they might put Cassie up on charges. So hey, good for her. Now you gotta fight. I hope you kept all that money, 50 million that you got from Diddy, or whatever it was, 30 million that you got from Diddy, he paid in 24 hours, whatever the fuck the story goes. And I hope you kept that money and you used that bitch for the best defense you can get. And I hope the niggas that defended Diddy have some principle and they don't defend you. But they're lawyers, so if you pay the right money, they'll probably defend you too and get you off. But I'm still saying I don't see all the charges that they hit him with, the RICO and some of the other stuff they hit him with. Yeah, he definitely admitted to flying prostitutes across state lines. It is what it is. And some of the violence they tried to say because he was already violent, then that led to a criminal enterprise, or he was a crime boss and shit like that. No, man, he wasn't a crime boss. He wasn't John Gotti or Pablo Escobar or whatever the fuck they got, you know, the El Chapo or anything. He's not none of them motherfuckers. He's just Diddy, and he got a lot of influence in the music shit. And, you know, because he always been on the screen, people want to do shit for him, but he's not, you know, El Chapo. He's Diddy. And they couldn't fucking tie him. My whole thing is they couldn't tie him to the fucking Kid Cudi thing. They could tie him to the Kid Cudi thing. They got a point. And I still think personally he did that to Kid Cudi. But also Kid Cudi should have fucking knew not to fuck around with Cassie because it's Diddy that who she's with. Kid Cudi not stupid, and Diddy been who he been for a while at that point. So that's your fault, my nigga, a little bit. A little bit. It's not your fault that somebody came in your house and violated your dog and threw a fire cocktail in your car, but you knew something was gonna happen. It's Diddy. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Which makes me think y'all never had nothing on him anyway. Y'all just wanted to disgrace him. Remember, I believe the reason Puffy got snatched because he sued Diageo, the liquor company,
No,
Right.
and made
I
them
heard you
settle
talking
out of
about
court.
I
Or
agree.
could it be also the Epstein?
I agree. Something like that got, it's always something behind the scenes why they bring these guys up on trial now. Why these crimes been 20 years, 30 years. These motherfuckers ain't just been new. These people ain't just went to the feds now. People done been went to the feds. They've been building cases. They been could have went and got them. But now all of a sudden, the people that was protecting them finally gave them up. Was like, I can't protect them anymore. So now they let them go after them. And that's how I feel.
Thing, like like we don't hear anything about that no more.
Yeah, definitely a distraction. Definitely a distraction from
We don't hear
Epstein.
nothing about none of these
Distraction.
Definitely a distraction. Or the
Very
Roman
well.
Catholic Church. Yeah, it was a distraction.
And
And they know black people love to eat up their own people. You feel me? We the only people who will publicly destroy our own to the benefit of the outsider. Nobody else doing that.
How we get that mind frame from doing that? Because you
slavery.
We haven't operated as a unit since desegregation. Desegregation caused the disintegration of the black community. Everybody went for themselves, and we ain't been back together since.
and I want to hang about that, talk about that school for a 2nd. So who is that for? Like who gonna better attend that school?
Well, you cannot legally exclude any child by race. You feel me?
Discrimination.
That's discrimination. They'll shut us down. So legally, I can't say that red, white, brown, and yellow children can't come because it's against the law, right? That's like if you're trying to get your kid in a white private school, they say he can't come because he's black. Laws.
And your man, the interviewer set Umar up asking that stupid ass question, but like again, Umar's good at this. He's smart enough to know not to answer that stupid question. But we know the school's gonna have a selection process the same way all schools have a selection process if Umar is smart. So unless that kid just happens to be outstanding and you really can't find a reason to reject him, they'll find a reason to reject him. Like all schools have in the past, it is what the fuck it is. I have no issue with that. Now, if Umar says that in this question, then he answered it the right way, in my opinion. But so far, he's answering it the right way.
Lawsuit, right?
Right.
But do I expect non-black parents to send their kids to Dr. Umar's school? Right. You want them to learn voodoo ninja? Send their ass.
Right.
You know, it's gonna be ancestors floating around in them hallways. You sure you want this crack? You see what I'm saying?
So fucking close. And then he had to get goofy at the end. He was doing so good to answer it professional. And then he just had to get goofy at the end.
Red, white, brown, and yellow children can't.
He just had to get goofy. It was like in his soul, like, let me get goofy. First, this interviewer asked the question that you shouldn't have asked on a podcast that you're sending out to the fucking world.
Together since.
But Umar answered it the right way. Started.
And I want to hang about that, talk about that school for a 2nd. So who is that for? Like who gonna better attend that school?
Well, you cannot legally exclude any child by race. You feel me?
Discrimination.
That's discrimination. They'll shut us down. So legally, I can't say that red, white, brown, and yellow children can't come because it's against the law, right? It's like if you're trying to get your kid in a white private school, they say he can't come because he's black. Lawsuit, right?
Right.
But do I expect?
But they find other ways to get him to not let him in. There you go. Not just because I got the money or he might have the grades. Not just because he got the grades. We just don't think he's the perfect candidate for it. Something like that. The same way jobs do it.
Non-black.
Here go the goofy part.
Black parents to send their kids to Dr. Umar's school?
Because the answer is yes. Because there's some people that he wouldn't call black, such as the Leanne chick. So you wouldn't call her offspring black, and I'm saying that she have an offspring with another person, right? Then, you wouldn't say her offspring has African descent because you don't believe that she identifies with her African descent, which that doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, what if she decides to send it? Or what if there's just white people that I know that grew up in the fucking hood that it's just solid that with another white chick, you feel me? And they have kids. What if they want to send it to Dr. Umar school? Yes. What if they want them to learn voodoo and be all in the halls and shit? The fuck is you talking about?
Right. You want them to learn voodoo, ninja? Send their ass. Right. It's gonna be ancestors floating around in them hallways. You sure you want this?
Ancestors flirting around in them hallways. It's gonna be the last. It's gonna be the ancestors of the last people that passed away the last 15 years that donated to this school that's been waiting for it to open. That's who the fuck they're gonna be floating around in that hallway. You know what I mean? But it ain't gonna be no motherfucking children because it's looking like this school ain't never gonna fucking open. And if it do open, I'm happy. I'll make a video that it opened.
Greg, you see what I'm saying? So you feel me?
It's gonna be the niggas that donated to him that died. That's gonna be floating around the hallways.
The fact I'm the principal.
That's gonna be the lights dropped. That's just Harold because he donated to him in 09, but he passed away.
A child is a child.
I mean, this motherfucker don't never open the school. That's why something always go wrong.
Be too interested in that.
You speak about empowering, the black community,
Mm-hmm.
The African community, and we went through the Black Wall Street, where
yes,
it should say Suck Jump Plus Studio.
Saying that we don't have
and Miss Fletcher is still alive.
I should say Suck Jump Plus Studio. Suck Jump Studio. All right, y'all could have named it different. Suck Jump Studio. Come on, Suck Jump Studio. That's where they filming it at. Suck Jump.
I believe she's 111 or 101. She's definitely a centenarian. And they sued and they threw out her suit. If I'm not mistaken, Oklahoma federal court struck down her reparations lawsuit as I believe the only or one of two of the only living survivors of the Tulsa race massacre. They refused to pay her. Right. And she still
should have paid her.
She was there. Yeah, or 111. She over 100. Is either 101 or 111. She's still going strong too.
But I was bringing that up because of this. You know what I'm saying? I hear like in some of your speeches and lectures that you speak on, you talk about us having black banks and businesses and all that.
Our own Black Wall Street. And we got more resources now than we had when Tulsa was around. So where's our Black Wall Street?
Right, but the question that I'm asking is why you think that we haven't empowered ourselves with more resources compared to them. Is it because of the bombing or what happened to them that we got this fear in us to not come together like that? Or
not for institutions. Now, if you said, the fight, stand up to the police or something like that, white militia, that's different. But in terms of us not having a Black Wall Street, it's because black people aren't interested in supporting anything all black.
And why
we don't want anything. We love white folks.
This is a new interview. He said that years ago before.
You are nobody.
Umar, you just recycling phrases? Is that what you do? You said that before years ago, and it didn't pick up when you said that back then. And you just recycling it now? Because this is a new interview. This is like 4 weeks old. And you said that years ago. I remember when you said that. Well, you just recycling shit now. All right, if we just gonna recycle shit, we just gonna run a little bit forward. Bam, most replayed.
die too soon or whatever, I'm not going to make that much anyway. So we don't invest because our life has such low value in this society. We don't expect to be around that long to cash in on the investment.
That's fact. That's big fact.
But we don't pass anything on either.
We don't. No
and I think
intergenerational transfer of wealth.
So that's the biggest problem right there. I heard you when you just spoke on life insurance and not having it and why we shouldn't have it, but that's a selfish mindset because
we should have it. We should have it
to want to pass
we should.
on wealth.
We should.
And you know what I'm saying?
We should
keep it going like or whatever.
But again, Black people are more concerned about how they look to other Black people.
What's modern day?
That is a priority for us.
Right.
Appearance and amusement. We like to have fun. Whether that's restaurants, whether that's the cruise, whether that's the nightclub, the comedy show, Black people are overcome with appearances and entertainment. We are like overgrown children. And I would argue that the white power structure intentionally keeps Black men and women, especially men, emotionally underdeveloped. So you cannot compete with the white man anyway because you don't value what he wants to control. You see that? We dealing with Air Jordans, Mercedes, Gucci, Louis, Balenciaga. The white man is dealing with who controls the cobalt in Congo. The white man is dealing with who controls the iridium in Haiti. The white man is dealing with who controls the oil in Nigeria, who controls the diamonds in South Africa. We stuck on Air Jordans. We stuck on, I just bought a piece of McDonald's. I just invested in Apple. That's cool. But you don't control shit. You'll get your dividend when they pay it out every quarter, right?
Right.
But do you control anything? Like they'll say, well, this celebrity got a 5% interest in Walmart. This celebrity got a 20% interest in the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You know what? I had to pause it, and he cooking, and I feel it. I should let her keep going, but the reason I paused it because he not wrong. You know what I mean? He not totally right, but he not wrong. Right? I get what he's saying. They don't control it. We don't own it. Yeah, but the average white man, like your average George that's walking the fuck around here, George Bartholomew, whatever the fuck his name is, that's walking the fuck around here, he don't control the damn oil shit either. He don't control the damn fields or whatever and all of that shit too. Now, somewhere, maybe back in his fucking past generations, his family might have been related to somebody that owns something. And now, generations, years later, but the typical person that live up in the trailer park, they don't, the white man that live up in the trailer park, Johnson, Grover, whatever the fuck you want to call them, Casher, Dasher, Prancer, they don't own shit either. You know what I mean? They out here doing the same thing. They not worried about Jordans and Mercedes, but they worry about ATVs and Budweisers. You know what I mean? Like, so you're not totally wrong because you're right. We don't control it and all that stuff, but they don't own shit either. They don't control it either. The typical person, you should not think the typical owl that you see that has a family and he stays a little bit more, he got a little bit more in the bank account, owns fucking oil. You should not think that. That doesn't make sense. He's trying to figure it out the same way you trying to figure it out. And, other things are neither here nor there. I'm just saying that a lot of them are also struggling and trying to figure it out too. They don't all own fucking oil. That's not how that works. One family or multiple families may own oil, and that's how you hear about them, like Jerry Jones, the motherfucker from the Cowboys, the Cowgirls and shit. His family owned a whole bunch of oil and shit like that. That's how you know he's a fucking billionaire. Not every fucking family got oil money.
Nigga, they don't own nothing. That ain't no power.
Right.
When you turn on the news and they talking about so-and-so is now a part owner. Did you see the percentage?
One. Jay-Z won.
You don't run nothing.
1%. Right.
So you got to start somewhere.
The power games that the white man is dealing with, black men ain't even thinking about.
So is that
like, I'm pretty sure Cooper Flagg, who was just drafted number 1. Well, I don't know, but I really don't think Cooper Flagg, who was just drafted number 1 from a small town in, I think it was Maine or New Hampshire, whatever the fuck it is, has a family member that owns oil, and that's how he was able to become number 1, because they funded everything into him and shit like that. Like, you're not making sense, Umar. Like, they also don't have no fucking money, and they figuring out. And when I say not no fucking money, I say, you know, they're not rich. I don't know their whole family and shit, but I don't think he grew up fucking rich and shit like that. He grew up wealthy and shit like that. But to be fair, there is more money out here than we say, and there are more people living okay than we think they are. So I don't know. Maybe he does have fucking oil money in his family, but I just know a lot of white people that don't have oil money in their family. And that makes me think that there's probably a lot more other motherfucking white people that don't have oil money in their family. So the ones that we hear about, the billionaires and shit, there's the ones that have the oil money in their family. We would know if he had oil money in his family. And it's just crazy for him to make it seem like that's why, you know, because we getting this little bit for this. You know what I mean? They getting that little bit too. They might be working with it a little bit better because they don't have the same issues that we have, but they getting a little bit too and trying to figure it out too.
Go ahead, man.
Is that would you consider that being modern day slavery? That mentality?
I would, and I would also say, as a child is taught, so are his thoughts. If we raise our sons with the most important thing being basketball, football, and rap, what do you expect?
A motherfucker that ain't take care of his kids can't tell me nothing about raising kids. I don't have kids yet, but I know some people that are fathers, and they're pretty good damn fathers and mothers and shit like that. You know, I mean, don't let somebody who ain't raised his own kids, and Dr. Umar admitted he ain't raised his own kids, and his own kids admitted that he wasn't raised by Dr. Umar. Don't let somebody who ain't raised their kids tell you about raising kids. I ain't forget that. Now, don't be abusing them and shit like that, but you raising them, hey, you taking care of them, you making sure they good. Everybody got different principles and shit that they live by. It just is what the fuck it is. But don't let somebody that ain't taking care of his kids tell you about raising your kids. Now, we do need to start now. Like I said a long time ago, if he say, hey, I didn't take care of my kids, so we need to raise our kids and make them better for the community. I got that. I'm with you on that. Don't start me telling them how to do this and how to do that, man. You couldn't do that for your kid. You in everybody else's life but your own kid's life. You in everybody else's kid's life but your own kid's life. That sounds like a predator right there.
These Jews, I'm going to call them untouchables. These untouchables are training their kids on how to control Wall Street, how to take over the international banking establishment, how to dominate the insurance industry. And we getting our sons ready for AAU basketball camp.
Cause we don't know about that.
That's an excuse.
Right.
Find out about it. Let me give you an example. I run into parents all the time who say, I didn't know that I could sign my child out of special ed. I didn't know that if special ed was a benefit in my child, I could have made the school pay for them to go to a private school. I didn't know that if I didn't agree with the results of the evaluation, I could demand an independent eval.
Right.
You didn't know that.
Right.
True. But guess what? You know Dr. Umar. And you've been following Dr. Umar for 15 fucking years. So you mean to tell me I'm a school psychologist by trade? They screwing your kid over, and you didn't care enough about your child to even ask me how to deal with it. You see that?
Right.
You didn't know.
Look, man, I'm gonna say two things. I'm gonna say my point. He not totally wrong on this, but he also not totally right. And this the way I see it from asking my father questions. There's certain things he didn't know growing up that we think that is normal now. You know, save money here, do this here, do that here. He didn't really know. He wasn't really taught that. So when he was taught that, he was able to go 10, because he realized, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to invest and you're supposed to and this is how you make your money. He went 10 times into it. He went super hard into it. Sometimes you don't know, and then you get taught something. Now, there were other times where there were other issues that were going on, and like you said, he had to go look up videos. He had to go look up reports and read and figure it out. You got to go find out and go get your mind expanded. So I understand what Umar is saying. Sometimes that is not an excuse. A lot of times that's not an excuse. You got to figure it the fuck out. You got to push it. You got to find out, man, there's something going on. Now sometimes you really don't know, and you may still made a move, and then after you make a move, be like, damn, I just figured out this, that, and the third. But now you can figure that out for next time, or you figure that out to pass the information on to somebody else to help them out, help it be easier for somebody else. Sometimes that's just how it works. And yeah, but definitely he not wrong, and he not totally right, but he not wrong. He not wrong. And I agree with him that the more advanced Jewish people, white people, Indian people, Arab people, whatever, they're teaching their kids a whole bunch of different things than sports and shit like that. I agree that we're teaching them sports, but sometimes we need to be teaching them more than sports. It's the problem with people and them being too much into sports. The problem is sports take over your whole life. We can't let sports take over their whole life. They got to be well-rounded individuals. They got to be able to learn something else and know something else, so that, God forbid, if they do, right now they're giving out money in high school for sports and shit like that. They're giving out NIL deals in college and shit. Get the bag, right? If something do happen, you need to be able to go into something else. They need to learn something else. They need to know something else other than just putting the ball in the basket. I agree with him on that. And we do need to expand a lot more on that. I agree with him on that. But also getting good at sports is one of the great transfers of wealth. It's also one of the things I don't agree with him on the snow bunnies, because that's one of the reasons why they made it illegal for white women and black men to be together, or black men or black women and white men. That's one of the reasons why they made it illegal in the 60s and 70s, because they thought if white men, if they get divorced, money transfers into the black hands. It just is what it is. They didn't really care for brothers and shit back then, right? They don't really care for some brothers and shit right now, but it is what it was. That's one of the reasons why they didn't want them, and racism and all of that shit and hatred and blah blah blah, and it's lesser than and all that shit too. But that's one of the reasons why. So we can't act like that's not a transfer of wealth if they get. I'm not wanting anybody to get divorced, but if they were to get divorced or something like that, that is a transfer of wealth. Especially if it's a poorer man or woman to a richer white man or woman, you know. Anyway, and the kids, you got to pay child support and everything too. Anyway, now they don't give a fuck. Now they don't give a fuck about nobody, everybody.
No, but you could have found out.
It's out there. That's
You
what
didn't
you're saying.
care.
It's
No,
out there.
We
glad you
don't try hard enough to compete.
No, I'm good.
I do agree with him. We don't try hard enough in life. You know, I made a video about this, about from watching The Matrix and shit. I made a video about this. We definitely need to realize that this is our motherfucking world, and we need to create. We need to stop being reactionary. We need to create. We need to go find out. We need to go figure it out. We need to buck up, man. Forget all this just coming out the house, waking up out the bed, no intention. No, we need to set a little bit of intention and figure out what we actually need and shit. Cause like fuck this bullshit. We done had so many years. You know what?
I'm glad you covered that, saying like no that part.
And we want our women to submit to men who don't want to
Bring it back.
compete
Bring
with
it
their
back.
oppressor.
Bring it back. That's what I'm talking.
Well, that's different, man. The women don't want to be with. The women are being with being with the same type of dude. They're having kids with the same type of dude. That's what the data supports. Like they're having kids with the same type of person, the same motherfucker that make enough whole bunch of money or some shit like that. Whatever the ratio is. But there's other dudes out here that don't have kids. So I don't think they're having an issue with not competing. They're living their life. They can compete. You know, if men have families, if men have something to compete for, you know, men don't have kids. A lot of these women, they turn up after they have kids and shit like that. They weren't on their career path before they had kids. Then they had 2 kids, and they get on their career path. They get on their nursing or whatever and shit like that. But you know, if men are just chilling in the crib, you know, they gonna chill, they're gonna take care of everything, they're gonna chill in the crib, they're gonna chill out. Like what?
Not real.
Make
But
it
I
full
was
circle.
talking
Make
about
it
like
full circle.
don't know for like the people you saying they got the power. Like them people not aware. They don't know that. And how could they?
Oh, I gotta go.